to the Binge Thinker, episode 69. Nice. My name is Jamil Raymond. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here as always. Binges, for this 69th episode, for something special. Well, it's fine. It's just more of a great synchronicity that something great is happening on the 69th episode. Today is my official last day in technology sales. I am retiring from tech sales. When I record this episode, when you receive this episode in your ear holes, I will be self-employed and no longer be working for Cisco. I am my own man, pursuing full-time Tech Sales Academy. I'm excited. I'm energized. It feels so good to take that weight off me of just having one thing to focus on. But I wanted to reminisce, right? I do believe that I am retiring from technology sales in that I never want to work for another corporation again. That has been the mission for the last 2 years. This is something we've been talking about for the last 12 months. So to be here at this point, which feels like, a point of no return, but that's just, but I can't just be negative about this history that I've had with selling technology. It's been fantastic to me. It's a great career and I highly recommend it to people who want to develop skills. And that's why I teach it, and because it is a great place to be. My issue is with mistrust of the corporation and not working for anyone else. As far as creating great technology solutions for people, solving problems, being of service, you can do all that with a fantastic technology career. And so, working for a corporation is a great place to start because they know how to do business well, right? It is a big challenge to run your own business, as I'm figuring out. So there is respect to them, but I just have this calling. And on today's episode, I wanted to reminisce. I'll take you through the history of my tech sales career to date. I think this might be a two-parter because I've written a whole bunch of history out. Most of this could be actual bullshit. Who knows? I just thought I would put together all the main points of my past, the highs, the lows, and I probably will talk about how my career has led into Tech Sales Academy, and introduce that next week in next week's episode, because I wrote this all out and I was like, oh shit, this is way more than an hour if I talk about all this. And I still want to keep these to an hour, right? Like, I know that time is precious and your attention is precious, dear listener. So, you don't need to hear every fucking intimate detail of my technology sales career life, because you're going to hear a fuck ton of it anyway. Now until forever, really. Oh, not forever, but a while. Because, I'm having to market myself as the tech sales guy. But we have a look back. So, as you may notice, I don't know if you do, we're celebrating, we're having a good time. If you're watching on the YouTubes, I'm wearing glasses. I thought I would wear sunglasses. I want to get a, what's it called? One of those whistles that... something like that to celebrate, to have a party with. But I didn't think it was worth buying or getting one of those just for that gag there, when I could probably or put an audio in. But we're having a bit of fun. I keep seeing podcasters with sunglasses. All the good comedy guys do it. Theo Von, Mark Normand, and who was also, I think of Tim Dillon. All wear the sunglasses. And I've always thought about it as it takes away an element of visibility. I know it does, obviously, but literally from the actual comic, right? Having the veil of not having your eyes be able to be looked at whilst you are talking, right? There is a degree of personal privacy of I think it sort of protects from exposing to the soul in some way. You know what I mean? Because the eyes are the window to the soul. And I think there is something about, you can see so much about a person in their eyes. And if they're hungover or if they are particularly vulnerable and they don't want to be necessarily seen the moment when they talk about things, like Theo has done that in the past as well. It does add a layer of protection, and I think it does change the tone of the show, because I think it changes the perspective of the wearer of the glasses, of the comedian. I could be wrong, but I mean, what other choices are there, right? I think it all pans out. It all plays out. You may also notice with that level of ambient dawdling that I am well medicated and also on Alpha Brain. So this is going to be fun and loose. And why the fuck not? We're here to celebrate, people. This has been fucking 11 years in the making to date. Something that has not necessarily defined my identity, but has brought up a big part of my life. It's given me so much abundance, right? I've made a lot of money, learned a lot of things about the world, how the economy works, how business works, how people work, right? This career has taught me so much of personal developmental skills in that time, but also having, an extended passion for getting into that stuff deeper. But all of it can be applied into tech sales. And, I've put together so much insight over time. That's why I'm building this course. It's like, hey, this can be so rewarding if you assemble your career right with the right elements and the right skills. And this can be fantastic for you. You just need the right combinations of skills and, information for you to do that for yourself. And that's really the course, right? Anyway, I keep plugging the course. I'm very excited to be working on it. I've got lots of great plans. I'll tell you what, before we jump into this, like letting go of the podcast, letting go of Cisco mentally just releases a heap of bandwidth, right? Even though I'm still, in very many ways connected to that business, but the fact that I don't have to consider them at all anymore. I can be my own whole person. It just has opened up a level of extra, the mental bandwidth that Cisco occupied is now going and is gone. And now it allows the brain so much more space to, I'm someone that was always burning the candle at both ends, and having all this extra mind space means that I'm thinking of new concepts and ideas better. Like I'll go for a mindful walk where I will just walk, no devices. I got my phone, but I'm no headphones in. You walk, I go down by Footscray River or Maribyrnong River. And the idea is to create mindless time. Mindless time is like when when you're washing the dishes or cleaning up, your mind starts to wander and ideas and things can come to you. Shower thoughts, same thing. I've talked about this in the pod previously, right? But just felt an outpouring of cool ideas, concepts, what ifs, just thinking about the business that has just opened up from, this being off over my head. And it's lovely, right? Because the cool thing about this stuff is that I can act on this shit now if I think it's a good idea. And it's like everything I do has a direct, tangible benefit to my end customer, to my people, which is really cool to be at the interface of, right? I'll tell you one thing. So I'm gathering troops for the proof of concept for Tech Sales Academy at the moment. What am I doing? I've got 20 to 25 of some best and brightest young minds that are inside Cisco from the CSAP program, the grad program, and GVSC, the business unit that I was in. Young talent, couple of years in, good nous, good skills. Some of them are high performers already. I'm going to take them through a first version of the course. And I had one last mentee to take out of Cisco before I jumped ship. So what had happened is there's this. So as part of the Club Cisco thing, the top 1% thing, there is this, what's it called, program where they pair the Club Cisco people, the winners, with the grad program as mentees, right? So you get a mentee from the Cisco's grad program with the top 1%ers to teach them the ways, right? You're the best. I'm the next generation. What can you teach me about the game? And it's a fantastic idea. Very smart. So I signed up for it, and I knew that I was going to take this person with me and make them just join the academy, right? So instead of going, I'll mentor them, not a big deal, of course. But it's like, instead of you having this, Cisco mentorship, come get the real shit that I'm actually creating on the side, just be a part of that program. You're going to learn a fuck ton, mate. And which is very true, right? You're getting more than just some guy going, you just got to work hard and you got to, push yourself to new limits, which I do say, but with a better tone, So, I've got this lovely girl. Her name is Anne. And I met her for the first time on Wednesday night, right? A couple of days ago. And I knew that I was just going to take her on this wild ride of mentorship and skill development by you just being like, you're coming with me to learn the ways of tech sales, and I'm the best in the fucking world at your job, and I'm going to teach you exactly how to do it right. which is a crazy thing to have just happen in your life, right? And I knew that I was going to give this to her, and it's just so funny that and just the way that it actually all panned out. Because like I said this while we were talking, I just think it's so funny. It's worth repeating that, as I'm gathering all the last things I can get out of Cisco, I've got my shares, I've got all my, all of my vouchers and awards, and I've, taken every fucking cent I can out of Cisco at the moment. That the last thing that I would grab is just Anne as the mentee to come join the program and be part of my POC. And I just sort of imagined her as like the hat in Indiana Jones just before the just before the wall closes down on him and doesn't fucks his wrist up. I just grab Anne and pull her into the team. Which is such a funny thought, just to think you're dragging a person like that. But anyway, she was very appreciative. She's very excited to be as part of the program. And so was everyone, right? But yeah, it was mind-blowing. It was a fantastic moment to see that she said something that was really resonated with me, which is beautiful. She's like, this is exactly what I needed right now. And that was just such a wonderful, heartwarming thing to hear, just to know I've really resonated with this person, because that's literally my intent, is to go, hey, I was you, this is your second year in, I'm into my 10th year of tech sales, 6th, 7th year of B2B, right? I'm you 5 years ago, and nothing's changed in 5 years. So that's why I'm coming back to tell you guys that, hey, this is how you should do and this is how you should learn. Like, pretty cool. But yeah, just the fact that I am resonating with my people, the people I do want to resonate with, is so lovely, but it's so nice to experience that firsthand, right? Is feel that gratitude pulsing through a screen. Like I can tell, she's just overwhelmed and, just like, whoa, I can't believe this is happening, and just really grateful. And it was a wonderful moment. I don't know if Anne hears this. Look, such a nice moment, Anne. I'm sure you agree. Very excited to have you as part of the team. And I feel weird I do feel weird talking about this without asking your permission, but this is I'm telling my side of the story, right? There you go. Yeah, there's new boundaries about what I share with you guys in the podcast, but it should be everything, because this is really a journal for me and to be as honest with you as possible. But it felt weird, but, very liberating to talk about that. These beautiful moments that I'm pursuing. And that's why it's so rewarding, is that it's not about the commercial success. It's about the energetic alignment to higher purpose. Is that, yes, what I'm trying to do to help people is really hitting at the moment. So I'm onto something energetically. And, it's all about creating that great vibe as a leader. And, keeping the vibe high and maintaining that. If this is what I can evoke in people with what I'm doing, fucking A, right? This is what you live for. This is A-grade life shit, right? Really making things happen. Anyway, we've got very distracted. How much time have we done? We've done about 15. That's not a big deal. All right, well, I'll cut some of this shit out anyway from my history. But look, it's a long runway of trial and error and effort selling tech to get to this point now where I can have this, wonderful moment with the next generation, right? I couldn't do that if I didn't have the belief in my capabilities and what I can teach other people, and to be able to pass that on. That takes a significant amount of confidence and balls, right? And I'm aware of that. I know you guys are too, but it needs to be called out. And that is the difference, right? That's just a bit of advice about if you're thinking about building a business, and you're passionate about something, what do you have the balls to get up and want to just talk about over and over again and be okay with it, right? Your passion. Tech sales ended up being a passion because it was this fantastic puzzle for me to solve. So for you as the individual, if you are looking for a purposeful idea to perhaps build a brand or something around, start with something that you cannot shut the fuck up about and will gladly talk about for hours, right? That's why I've got this podcast. I'm passionate about self-improvement, documenting the journey, sharing the message out. And I could talk about my message, the journey, the learnings all fucking day, right? And tech sales now. Pretty cool. I think I've said that a few times now. Pretty cool. Pretty cool way to get about things. Very nice open loop. So let's get into it. First job in sales. So when did I first start selling, right? So before I started doing tech sales, technically I did regular sales. And my regular sales started, I would have been 2008, I think, when I started working at FHF Fitness. That's right. Your schlubby friend from a few years ago used to work at a gym, a bodybuilding gym, a hardcore bodybuilding gym called FHF, because this is when I started doing my first transformation. When I was 18, just hating life, was at rock bottom, needed to change. I do talk about my transformations a little bit in the newsletters for the Tech Sales Academy, because it's important to understand how much of a zero I was, right? Which sounds harsh, but it's very true. I don't want people to think, even though, yes, I'm smart, but that I, had anything else going for me except brains and will, right? And I learned all the skills because I was a fucking dud of a human being for a while. Not my fault. Society, the environment wasn't great for it. We've talked about that plenty. I've been unwinding that trauma since day one on this podcast. Man, I'll tell you what, the combination of alpha brain and weed is potent, right? I am spilling things out at 1,000 miles an hour. I should do every pod like this. This is fun. Anyway, so I used to work at a gym, and I had not dreams, but I did have not big dreams, but I wanted to work in fitness because I thought the best way to get fit from being unfit my entire life, weak as fuck, a lazy, schlubby kid that was one of the first generations to be raised in front of a screen, right? And at 18 years old, trying to do something about it, went to this gym. It was a hardcore bodybuilding gym. Mick, the owner, was a competitive bodybuilder, coach, juice to the gills, classic meathead dude. I used to work, I started my transformation, started getting fit at his gym and got skinny and got healthier. So I started to work, and I used to use him as like a parental figure, a bit of a father figure, because, he taught me how to train, and he got me from like a guy that was schlubby and looking shit and to looking decent, right? I didn't know anything about diet at the time. I really just exercised all the excess fat off me till I got, just down to like a normal human being. Like I was fit. I had a little bit of an ab outline at best at like 19. That's how fit I got, but not really much muscle mass. I was eating almost zero protein. Wasn't really keeping an eye on my diet. I was just exercising regularly at this time. Anyway, I got to working for Mick when I first started working at the gym because I was a bit of a bum at the time. I didn't have much else going on besides working at Coles in the dairy department. So he needed a guy that would take, he could work for cheap. I would work for cash, $15 an hour, looking after the gym, cleaning it up as an instructor. So just, tidying it up, got, safety stuff, just looking after the gym. And then I also worked behind the counter selling supplements and all of his merch and stuff. And I was pretty good at selling supplements and stuff. He did notice, I remember, that the sales would go up when I was there, right? So, and I could clearly see how much money I was making him just in general revenue at all, and earning $15 an hour cash, right? So I know how much money I'm bringing him in. And I also got new memberships as well. And I know how much they were as well. So I'm seeing that I'm generating money. Anyway, I had to leave FHF because Mick had a lot of problems as a human being and had a full-on mental breakdown and basically went full-on had a drug-induced mania at the gym and had to be sedated. I wish I was kidding about this. Had to be sedated. It took 2 ambulances to sedate him. They had to pull him off a chain wire fence that he had climbed. Very crazy, right? Anyway, Mick had to go for a while. I feared for my safety because he was a lunatic, and I quit the gym. Fair enough, right? So I realized that I am better at sales, looking for another casual job, seeing what's going on. I get this job at Coles Mobile. This is in 2011. My first tech sales job, technically, because I'm literally just selling mobile phones and plans. So Coles thought that it would be smart to have postpaid mobile plans in store and earn some extra commissions that way. Because at the time, in 2011, mobile phone plan commissions were huge. Because in 2011, right, you're talking about just around the iPhone era, mobile plans were at a premium, like to have data and have, amounts of calls. So, but they were very highly profitable to Telstra. So the commissions on them were huge as contracts. So then Coles thought they could come in and make some extra money on the side by being one of the partners, since they had so much foot traffic in the shops anyway. Not a bad idea in theory, but it completely fucked up as an organization. I got a job there because I'd worked at Coles, had a little bit of sales experience, and was pretty personable, right? Imagine this, but just a lot dweebier. So I could talk pretty well. Get a job. It's also, they're getting just casuals anyway, and the caliber of people I'm surrounded by is not very high. So it's not like I was like, I wasn't anything special, but they weren't looking for much either. There was very little people with actual direct sales experience in there. Like they were just trying to get people in the door at this point just to fill the, I guess the stores with staff, because they had launched like 15 different stores. Anyway, that place was a mess of an organization. Didn't operationally stunk. Things got stolen all the time. Because you've got $1,000 phones there, in Dandenong and Chadstone and shitty parts of town, they're getting fucking ripped off and stolen by all the crackheads that exist in a lot of CBD or, city centre Coles's. It's just a fact of life. Anyway, I was one of the few people that actually made sales there in my casual time. And this is where the start of my training and my coaching background would come through, where I would actually just, out of the kindness of my own heart, coach and teach some of the other less extroverted team members who I became friends with. I've forgotten their name now, but I can see them very clearly in my head. I've forgotten them. Both of them were some sort of brown, Sri Lankan-ish, one Indian, maybe one Lankan. Nice enough people, one a girl, one a guy. We got along well. But I would just teach them the basics of how to be more approachable, because it was a very proactive thing. You had to try and convince customers doing their shop that, hey, you want to come check out the plans? Fucking hell, very intrusive. Hey, do you think you want to recontract your phone with us for 24 months and just commit to a, $90 a month plan just whilst you've gone for a litre of milk? You reckon you can do that? So that's where it fell apart, if you think about it like that, right? And so, but this is where I started to stand out for selling, even though it was a shitty environment. This is where I start to take an interest in helping people and coaching them just on the most basic shit, just teaching them how and showing them how to do something. So those are the grains, right? That place fell apart. It stunk. I got fired from Coles Mobile for stealing multiple barbecue chickens. The statute of limitations on this is gone, so I can say that out loud. I just would take barbecue chickens and not pay for them because I was already inside the fucking, I was already inside the store and I was like, oh, I can't be fucked. And I did not have a great vibe about this place anyways. This is at Knox City in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne. And I still don't go back to that Coles. But basically, they're very sharp about their loss prevention, and I was very lax about it because I would just almost blatantly just take a barbecue chicken on them, and on the occasional shift and just eat it in the staff break room, just in front of people, including the manager one day. And this is when the manager had clued onto me. And I didn't know it at the time because I'm sitting there eating, just sort of being chill. And he's looking at me eating this barbecue chicken and he's got a very sour look on his face. Like, cunt, I don't think you paid for that. And I don't think you paid for any of those in a while. And he was completely right. And I'm looking at him like, hey, what's going on? And he's just looking at me like, Shortly after that, I get pulled into the office. Very traumatic event for me at the time. Had to leave. Thankfully, because I wasn't directly employed by Coles, I was employed by a third-party recruiter, they couldn't sue me. And I don't think they would have gone through that rigmarole anyway, because many people have been, found stealing on their property all the time, and they don't take them to court. But as a 21-year-old who's committed his first crime, I freaked the fuck out. Oh, man. So, not a glamorous start to starting my textiles career. But I know that I'm good at selling mobile phone plans, and I want to take this a bit further. So, shortly after, my local Telstra retail shop has an opening there for a full-time role to be a sales consultant. Basically, just working for Telstra, selling mobile plans, broadband plans, just a full-time retail seller. And I'm like, you know what? Let me do that because I've just finished my, diploma of business management from Holmes Glen TAFE, and the only thing else that I've got going on for me is a cover band that's having fun. Don't get me wrong, had a lot of fun there. Why don't I work full time and earn some money and stop being a bit of a bum for a little bit, because I'd sort of floated a little bit between 19 and 21, which is not a big deal. Not a big, whatever. Life's good. But now, I go to the Telstra shop full time, very green. But what I came to find out is that they're a franchise, they're not a company-owned business. So they're just really a small business that just slaps on the Telstra badge and sells mobile plans, right? So they needed the people. And because they weren't owned by the company, they were a small business, they actually paid a lot shitter than a company-owned store, which is why I made the transition soon after. But spoiler alert. Anywho, I'm there for about 6 months, and I'm learning fast, and I'm already getting pretty good at, getting sales pretty quickly. Very good on the tools, learning fast. I don't think I maybe have just made target 1 month while I was there, like in my last month, maybe 2 actually. But that's what I learned. Just be helpful to customers. Just, be good to them. This is pure consumer selling, right? You just solve their problem for them. What's going on? How can I help? What can we do for you? It's as simple as that, right? You're just solving their problem, being helpful. Deals come, people feel that you're legitimate, and money doesn't become the issue anymore. And you can be very convincing because people trust you. They go, hey, this guy's not full of shit. He's telling you what's going on. And I did that a lot. And 2 great memories from that time. May have told these stories before, I'm not too sure. It's the launch of the iPhone 5. Launch day, pretty exciting stuff. My first launch that I've ever dealt with. Maybe it's the 5S, can't remember. Still one of those small little soap bar phones. Speaking to a customer on launch day, I remember on launch day there was this guy that thought he was top shit. It was some Asian dude wearing a suit, making sure that he got the most expensive, fanciest phone, made sure it was black, the iPhone, told me about his Breitling watch, which I didn't know much about, and I know that it's fancy now, but I don't give a fuck. And yeah, he's getting a phone. But I just remember that dude. Next story. Just thought I remember. Chuck that in. So I'm serving this lady, and I'm setting up her phone for her, all the usual stuff, having a bit of small talk. What do you like about the phone? I'm setting it up, putting a SIM card in, all that good stuff. And behind me is the demo phones. And then whilst I'm just chit-chatting away, I can hear behind me just a little slapping sound like that. And then I start to hear some female moaning. And it's getting louder. And I turn around, and there's a deaf guy that's watching porn on the demo phones at full volume. And he doesn't know that he's doing it because he's just transfixed on the phone, and he's just staring like he's just full ball at the fucking phone. I can see that he's got the deaf people earbuds, and is just transfixed, and I have to physically get in his way. I have to break his line of sight with my hands to wake him up out of it, whilst also trying to grab the phone and turn the volume down. And he just freaks the fuck out, sees me, just goes, oh, and then just shuffles away. And I'm having to just, get rid of, just off, just get rid of the app, however you did that back in the day, put the volume down, clear the browser history for the next person that's keen to see what's going on. It's a little embarrassing. I can't remember if anyone else noticed. I certainly had a chuckle about it. But yeah, deaf guy watching porn on the phones. God bless. So the other thing that I remember that stuck out to me, which sort of gave me these inklings that I'm pretty good at this shit, is that one of my customers that just popped in was the then marketing manager for Adidas Australia. Older guy, British gentleman, nice dude, must be living in the nice part of Rowville, in the fancier part, or maybe in Listerfield where all the mansions are, probably that. Anyway, he has to come back and forth. He's setting up mobile plans. He's just moved. He's setting up his plan for himself, his plans for his kids, I'm pretty sure. Trying to get everything sorted out for him. I'm helping him out. I have a chat with him. I get to know him. And yeah, find out that he's part of the marketing manager, and he has to come back 2 or 3 times just to sort some paperwork out and some problems and whatnot. And this is around the time where Ricky Ponting, the Australian cricketer and captain, is announcing his retirement. Or it could be his last game. I'm pretty sure it was one of his last games. And Adidas was sponsoring the Australian cricket team at that time. So they had a connection, obviously, as the marketing manager and Ricky. And he just got a reply back from Ricky. And I'm like, Ricky here? He goes, Ponting. Just sent him some well wishes as part of his retirement. And he just sent me a message back. And I go, oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, good that you got that relationship. And he goes to me, well, you could message him too if you wanted to. Is that how it went? Yeah, it was either that. I wouldn't have asked for it. No, he offered it. Yeah, he offered it to me. See, I would know this again now. Now the alphabet's starting to wear off. But yes, he offered it to me to go, well, you could give him a text as well and say congratulations if you want. And I was like, really? And then, yeah, he's like, yeah, go on. And I'm like, So I wrote down the number and I took it and I was like, I'll do that. Well, let me sort this sort of stuff out and then I'll send him a message. And then I remember having it on a piece of paper. I do remember having it written down. And yeah, I go look after him and say, see you later. I go check the mobile number in our systems and it's Ricky's number. And I'm like, oh shit, this is legitimate. Like, what the fuck? Who gives out Ricky Ponting's number like this? And yeah, I was like starting to freak out because I'm only a few months into the job and I'm there with my colleagues and they're going, oh dude, you better log out. You shouldn't. I think they check accounts and make sure that they've got protected accounts so people don't touch important people's stuff. And I was like, oh shit, all right, well, all right, let me log out of the system. But then I had the number and I was like, I do not want this. Like, he shouldn't have given it to me. Very appreciative that he did, but he shouldn't have given it to me. And I have no business messaging Ricky Ponting and wouldn't want to interrupt his privacy. So I disposed of that number, but was glad that happened nonetheless. Right? So yeah, old mate from Adidas gave me the number. Nice gesture, appreciated it. Didn't think it was that close, but clearly I'm doing something right by him. So I was only in that franchise for about 6 months, and I fucked off to the Eastland Telstra shop because the conditions sucked at the franchise, and I was going to study marketing because I wanted to take my life a bit more seriously and go to university and study something. So I studied marketing. I didn't want to work full time. My friend Jeremy not the time, good friend still now, Jeremy, love you mate, was working at that shop, and he's like, let's see if we can jump you across and, we can get you in a company-owned store where you get better rates and you get, more power to do stuff because you're not a franchise, you're a company, and which is good for me because I'm a guy that's actually pretty good with the tools and the systems and whatnot. So I jump across. It took me a little while to get adjusted to sales there, slightly different approach, but this is what, end of 2013, started 2014, that I made the jump across. It took me like only a couple of months to get into the rhythm of selling and learning how to sell in the business. And then I just started dominating the sales machine, right? So from 2014, the year of 2014, I took out top sales 7 out of 12 months. And I'm only working, 15 hours a week, two shifts, like a Thursday and a Saturday, maybe 12 hours a week. But I'm outpacing the full-timers by some of them a long way, right? Because I'm just this talking machine, and I'm obsessed. This is where I get obsessed about my sales process. I'm getting confidence in 2014 and going, fuck, I'm a fucking pretty good seller. And I think I know my process now, especially for B2C, right? Because I'm coming in and blitzing sales records inside Telstra, like in the retail section, right? I'm getting asked to coach. Getting asked to be paid after hours to go to other stores and coach other sellers in the business on how to sell certain products, like Foxtel and Big Pond Security, which is a really shitty product. Increasing your attachment rates of Stay Connected, which is the insurance product, to your new mobile plans, right? The cross-sell, the upsell. This is where my sales career starts to really kick into gear in these 18 months. That's when I peak in my retail sales career. So now this is where I'm really getting into sales and marketing. In university, I'm doing a marketing degree. I am the top student in sales and selling management. Shout out to Ian Russell. Thanks for that, mate. Appreciate you. Right. I understand B2C sales quite well. I haven't missed, I think from 2013 to 2022, 2023. 2013 to 2023 is my 10 years of unbroken sales. Like never, I don't think I missed a target from the end of 2013 and definitely not to the end of 2023 because I killed it my last year. So that decade is where I have not missed number in any sales job that I'm in. Pretty good record, right? Another great thing that happened at this time is I befriended one of my strategic marketing lecturers. His name is Joel, and he's actually now one of my mentors and someone that I go to for advice because he's a very smart academic man. He's got 6 degrees. So if I think I'm smart, this motherfucker has 6 degrees. Ooh, 420 on the oven light, baby. You know what it is. Sorry, but yeah, great dude. Due to catch up, actually. So that's me peaking in 2014 in the B2C world of tech, right? Because once you've sold one thing, you've sold it all. One of the great things about working at Telstra, I have to say this, and it applied in retail and in enterprise, is that it exposes you to so many different vendors. And that's the great thing. You're not just selling one product, you're selling heaps of products, some different vendors. All the commonality is the Telstra carriage that it sat on top of, the mobile plan, the data plan, right? I had to learn about Samsung's features versus the iPhone, versus the Ericsson, versus the Motorola. What are the different types of internet carriage? Who are we competing with? Why? There's a lot of this product and sales information that's very important. So I knew how to sell multiple vendors, multiple products at once and bundle and cross-sell and just put these solutions together for customers, right? Again, I've never been a salesperson. I've always just been a passionate problem solver. I love to help people by solving their problems with technology. That is my defining factor as a human being, as a seller in this 10 years plus of fucking ace sell skills. So now that I've conquered the B2C world, in my opinion, because, I'm just selling tech and I want to progress in the business. Telstra is a business department. Why don't I try and get into there? I'm already a business specialist. So I've already made these little progressions up the Telstra ladder from retail into small business. So I actually left and I started my B2B career in tech going to a Telstra franchise again. And what they had was an actual business area, where in the retail shops, you didn't really get to deal with business customers. You only sold business plans and then sold them a business broadband solution, which is literally just the same thing as a consumer broadband solution, just on a business bill, right? So I'm not really a business person, but I'm interested in selling tech into businesses. So this other franchise called Vita Group, they have a store in the city. And behind the store in the city, they have a business department and an enterprise department and looking for a business rep. So I'm like, ooh, that sounds like a good transition for me as someone that wants to sell business full time. I already have Telstra retail experience. This is good for me. So I apply for the job and I get it, which is great. So now I've got this great first full-time B2B tech sales job. I'm selling Telstra business products. I have the retail shop. I leave retail. I've just finished my degree. So, I got my diploma. My degree in commerce, in brackets marketing, minor in business management. And I'm going to go be a business boy. But the moment I got to Vita Group, that place was a fucking nightmare. It sucked because just like it was a franchise, right? It was owned by a small business. It was prone to the dodginess of small businesses, of people that just want to rort the system to maximize their sales because they're just sucking the teat of the Telstra brand. So this store was pretty dodge. The business department they had was not technically on Telstra's books. It was not allowed to be there because at the time, Telstra Business was divided up by territories because there were lots of franchisors selling, as resellers of Telstra products, and to lure the franchisors in, they had to guarantee territories. And this business department had no territory, so I had to scab off other territories, which is not what I expected at all. And then also, they gave me almost zero fucking training on how to do the job. I was just expected. So what happened was the manager that was supposed to support the business, right? So the manager that was there, he had just left. So they were trying to fill the manager's position as well as my position that I just entered into. And there was no manager position. And the territory manager, this other chick that hired me, some fucking bitch that I will not name, just in case, she, would just sort of hired me, put me into the role, no training, basically just gave me Telstra's website for partners that talked about product, and that was it. She's like, here's a list of customers, try and cold call them. We have a lot of recurring customers. Just say you're the new guy and just take over from there, and that's how you start. And I'm like, okay, I just do that. But then anything that wasn't something that I already knew about, right? That wasn't already just a mobile plan or a broadband plan, I was completely fucking stumped by. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I remember one time some guy was asking about how to set up a 1-800 number. And I was completely stumped and had no idea how it all worked because, I just didn't understand it at all. Now I can tell you how to set one up pretty easy. But I remember just looking like a fucking idiot in front of this guy, just learning in front of him what the process was. And I remember just feeling like such a dumbass at that time. And it really shit me that I could not get any help out of anyone. There was a few guys at the back that were in the enterprise business, but they didn't have any time for me because they were just busy doing their own shit. I would ask them questions occasionally and they would answer me, but they're just gruff, old, schlubby business guy types, a bit. There was a few used car salesmen in there. Let's just say that, right? A shitty bullpen with no windows in the back office of used car salesmen. That was the vibe I was surrounded by. Ugh. But I'm trying so hard. I'm making deals. I'm making shit happen, but I just feel so unsupported and it fucking really hurts because I just feel so stupid. And I've gone from knowing everything about the business that I was in retail sales, fucking nailed it consistently, unbroken as far as achieving number, to then feeling like a dipshit with every single customer conversation that I'm having. It's so brutal. To the point where when I have brought this up to that bitch of a manager multiple times that I need help and getting support and nothing happens, I broke down in one of my last meetings at that place because it's like, what the fuck is going on here? And I was just it felt awful. right? And there is, again, another seed into why I built Tech Sales Academy, right? It's because my worst moments have been from not knowing what to do when I'm supposed to be this big fucking tech business guy for customers, but I'm just some fucking idiot just pointing at a fucking website to say, go there and they'll solve the problem. Fucking stupid. So thankfully, I get a lifeline by the way of a friend of a friend. And what's happened is the Telstra corporate, the real business department, has a role open for something called an account specialist. And an account specialist is a non-sales role. It's an account support role for account executives. So instead of being on the front line and selling this stuff, you get to be a support agent for them and like a second pair of hands for them to deal with the accounts and manage the accounts whilst they go out and sell. So I'm like, it's a bit of a pay cut, but I don't really feel great making the money down there anyway. I was making okay money there at the time. Don't get me wrong, because I was selling some stuff. But I'm like, it's a bit of a pay cut, but I get to learn the game of Telstra Business properly. I'm inside the machine. So I go, all right, I'll apply for it. I remember the guy, Pav, who hired me. Very nice guy. He wasn't even the sales manager at the time. I think he was a very new sales manager, an interim one. Nice guy. He hired me. I owe him a debt of gratitude for getting me into the business. We had a coffee at 242 Exhibition Street. And he was a very good dude. He was Polish, I think. And he had sort of made his way in through the business. He was a technical solution specialist that sort of came from a very weird background. I can't remember how. Very well put together guy. Appreciated being a man of class and money and wealth. Obviously had probably, thought well of himself. Wasn't the greatest sales manager, unfortunately, but still a very nice dude. Unfortunately, he killed himself a few years ago. I think he had some very bad investments that he had made with a property business that he developed, and from what I heard, he had offed himself. So, R.I.P. buddy. I mean, you were a great man to me. Appreciate you and what you've done for me. Hope you are at peace, my friend. But yes, he hired me, and I got to learn the game. I got to learn the game of tech sales in Australia, right? So I'm surrounded by account executives and senior account executives, and these guys seem like big bad motherfuckers to me, because I'm like, oh, you guys are inside the game, and I've been on the retail on the outside. I must be a fucking idiot compared to you guys. I would find out very quickly that the answer was no. It's just that, this was part of the process to develop. The politics of getting in was very different. And honestly, the pathways to becoming an account executive and an account manager inside tech organizations previously was very low barriers to entry. And sometimes still is now, right? So they weren't necessarily the smartest tools in the shed, but some of them were wily, some of them were crafty, right? There was a lot of used car salesmen inside Telstra, and has been for years, basically in every industry, right? It's just that, sales gets a bad rap because it's full of fucking dickheads. Anyhow, my team that I was in was not dickheads. They were all younger. They were the next generation. A lot of these people are still my great friends today. I got to learn off them. I got to learn the processes. I got to learn what the technology was. And I was an absolute sponge because I was hungry, because I did want to be in there and be a seller, right? I wanted to get my pride back. Not pride back, but I knew that I had this is the sales game, and I wanted to get better at it. And so I would learn from them. I would take on extra responsibilities so I could, get the experience in. But my time as an account specialist was challenging, but it was one of the smartest moves and best ways to be set up for a career in technology sales that I've ever had. And there's something I'll talk about in the Tech Sales Academy as well, is because it taught me how to work the machine, right? It taught me how to work the internal systems. It taught me how to work the machine in my favor. It told me what not to do by cleaning up the messes of different account managers, seeing all the problems that occurred in business and in account management when with the systems and the delivery of the services and managing the bills and all of that fucking admin work. I saw a lot of root causes. I saw how people were fucking up and how not to do that. And that's an extremely important underrated skill as an account manager, is to not get in your own way down the line by doing things right the first time and not fucking orders up, and making sure that you're very diligent with your paperwork and your process and your infrastructure and what you're ordering. Because as an account executive, as an account manager, as the front line, if you do not nip those things in the bud early and get it right the first time, they will compound and land in your ass with broken processes down the line at some point, right? Because everything, if you're the front line, you're the first person it goes to when shit goes wrong. You get all the glory, but you get all the fucking hate when it goes wrong as well. And I've been there on both sides of the coins many times. But if you learn how to manage the systems in your favor, if you learn how to work the systems, you learn what not to do, you learn how, what the proclivities are of it, and you document those systems, and you get much more precise and you've got much more experience in working the machine in your favor and minimizing hundreds of hours, thousands of hours I have saved from, managing downstream issues early by solving problems and making sure I learn from other people about the problems they made and not doing it myself. Thousands of hours, millions of dollars of issues, to a point where I ended up being the cleaner of accounts. One of the ways that I would generate value for customers when I started as an account manager shortly after that time is that I knew how to clean up accounts. I knew how to get rid of ongoing issues and niggling things about their experience that sucked. And then when I was able to clean it up like that, within weeks, months of dealing with them as customers, it built trust and credibility immediately, right? Because they go, oh, this guy fucking gets it. Honestly, one of my biggest keys to success early on. But yes, that was the benefit of working as an account specialist. It made me deadly, right? Because I knew I was in control. I had confidence that I could look after customers. I wasn't nervous or anxious because I'd already pseudo-managed customers through shitty billing issues and having to, client relations, keep them updated with issues and solve the problem and hold their hand through the process. And I would cross-sell and upsell inside the accounts as well. I remember a defining moment when I went from specialist to salesperson. I was in a meeting with Sam, who was one of my good friends inside Telstra, and he was a senior account executive with some big accounts in Victoria. And him and I were going to have a meeting with the CIO of Etihad Stadium. And they had some significant infrastructure with Telstra. They had 2 big pipes, and they had all of the Wi-Fi was installed by Telstra, plus the seats in the Medallion Club were designed and delivered through Telstra as well. So we had some very big projects going on with this customer. And one of the CTO at the time was sort of grumbling about how one of the internet pipes isn't working well. And then he was suggesting that he could put in a TPG pipe for a lot cheaper and not have to worry about this issue. And I sort of quipped in and we were like, hey, I mean, sure, you could say that, but do you really want to take that risk with a carrier that that you don't know anything about? And I just started objection handling this CTO straight off the bat to the point where he was like, oh, yeah, you know what? You're probably right about that. And I remember Sam was there and he was like, ooh. And I think he told our manager at the time, then he's like, I think he's ready because of that incident that I could have a strategic conversation and push back against what is supposed to be a pretty high profile customer in the patch. It's not every day you get to deal with an entire stadium and see millions of dollars of infrastructure in there that you've put in there. Pretty cool. Not me, but good for Sam. Full credit to him. So from there, I made the jump. I owe a tremendous gratitude to a man called Steve Anderson, and I have told Ando that I appreciate it and appreciate him for giving me my first chance to sell and to become a salesperson inside Telstra Business and start my very successful tech sales career. There was a vacancy in the team after a recent promotion. Steve, I was working closely with Steve at the time, supporting him with customer service initiatives. He knew that I was keen to sell and keen to grow. And I interviewed for a role, got it, was extremely grateful. And then unfortunately, I thought I was going to be in the same team as the rest of the folks that I was with. But alas, I was not. I got kicked out of the team. No, that was not kicked out. I had to reshuffle. The teams for the new portfolio for a new year. And unfortunately, I had to be moved into a different sales management pod, which was really sad because I really, me and Endo got along well. I had a great connection with him. And I did not think that it would break up. It was a great team to be a part of, great culture, good friendships, and it was a real shame. I've just seen here that we are at around 55-ish minutes or just 50. So I'm thinking I might have to break this up into fucking 3 episodes because I only want to keep this to an hour, folks. Like, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I hope you're having fun. I'm having a lot of fun punching this out verbally because I know that I'm fucking dodging and weaving verbally. So I'm having fun saying it. But I think we'll leave it there. We have to break this up into a 3-parter, I think, which is fine because hopefully you're having fun. There's a lot to learn from this. It's particularly if you come back to this, hopefully when things blow up and I can just be like, hey, if you want to learn some stories about some insights about my career, just come back to these pod episodes, right? Always thinking, baby, ABC, always be closing. I'm going to leave it there, folks. Having a lot of fun, just talking a bit of shit. Alpha Brain and, THC seem to be a great combo for the pod. And I think I might keep the sunglasses as well because, fuck it. Anyway, next week, we'll break this up into part dos. I'm going to make this dos of tres. That's 3 for you, you common folk. I can't speak Spanish, although I do look very Hispanic. Very true, very true. Yes. Anyway, for now, techsales.academy. Hey, if you want to do me a favor right now, guys, add me on LinkedIn because that's where my marketing efforts are going. Basically, I'm in monk mode, getting the first version of the course out, doing the proof of concept. I'll talk to you guys about that next week. It's a lot of fun. But yes, add me on LinkedIn. I'm posting content every day. That's where I'm growing the brand. I'm going to be growing the brand everywhere else as well, but that's the primary platform to grow on right now for 2024 is LinkedIn. Hot tip, folks. If you are trying to develop your brand in the B2B space, it has to be LinkedIn. Psst, you're welcome. But yes, follow me on LinkedIn. Otherwise, you know what to do. Give us a like on your podcasting stream of choice. If you're on the YouTubes, like and subscribe. Give me that big old thumbs up. Join the Tech Sales Academy newsletter list. I'm going to be punching out really cool, interesting content about technology sales, performance. All of my systems will be over there over the next 12 weeks. If you want a documented copy of all of my performance systems, right, everything I've talked about in your inbox for you to keep for life and just come back to, sign up for the Tech Sales Academy newsletter. It's called the 1% Club. I will put the link inside the YouTube link. I will also put it on my link tree. So you can find it if you're not on the YouTubes. But thank you very much for your time and attention. Binges, look, it's a bold new era. I'm very excited to be a liberated, free individual and be my own man and not have anything hanging over my head to be just purely myself and with you guys, right? Yeah, I smoked a little weed in this podcast. I've never really liked... there's something about smoking whilst I was employed that I did not like, just in case it ever came up, but that's what I mean. Like, I get to express all of this myself to you guys. It's so much fun. Hopefully it's you finding entertaining. I can be a bit of a laugh from time to time. I've been paid to do it once in a while, but having a lot of fun. Can't wait to connect with you guys on an even bigger level. That's it. Ciao for now. Bye.